My dream is to become one of the best players in the world.
But how did Erling Haaland become the star striker he is today?
Es ist schon ein Wunder, was macht heute.
What's his secret?
Maybe it's magic, I don't know.
We're taking you on a trip to Norway, where the Leeds-born son of a Norwegian player in the English Premier League started his rise to the top. The cook, the coach, his friends and his father.
Some of my strengths I can see in Erling.
Who can tell us how he became
Erling Haaland. Erling Braut Haaland. If you're in Norway, you can say Erling Braut Haaland.
Let's start our journey to Erling Braut Haaland's Norwegian roots in Molde, roughly 500 kilometers northwest of Oslo. The city's nicknamed the Town of Roses, but Molde is also known for its football. Perched next to the sea, the Aker Stadium is home to reigning Norwegian champion Molde FK. The club signed Haaland when he was 16 years old. In Molde, the lanky teenager transformed into a muscular athlete. 1.5 years after his arrival, the still 17-year-old Haaland scored 4 goals in just 17 minutes at a First Division match in Bergen. A star was born. One of the secrets of Erling's rapid rise is the club's cook, Torbjørg Haugen, nicknamed Tante. She used to cook for the Norwegian biathlon team before Molde and Manchester United legend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer brought her to the club.
Every match I see from her.
Tante took care of Erling's nutrition.
Han var en liten, litt tynn gutt som kom inn her på stadion. Nei, jeg ga ikke noe spesiell mat, men det var en gutt som vokste mye. Han var 16 år når han kom, og 18 når han reiste. Så var det en periode han vokste veldig mye. Han var sånn på ett år, så var han sånn 1 year. Han måtte ha mye mat, og han kom til meg. Kan jeg få mat med hjem, spurte han, og jeg ga han mat, for jeg så at gutten trengte mat.
I think you have talked to Tante, the chef. He ate like a horse, a young kid. Thin kid, tall kid, but still growing, skin and bone. I thought it's going to be a project, yeah.
Børren Steinslid is Molde's fitness coach. He ensured Erling bulked up enough to compete with adult opponents. Not an easy job, as Haaland grew 8 centimeters in his 2 years at the club. Now he stands at a towering 1.94 meters.
He was 16 when he came, and he was taking it all in when it comes to training. And especially in his first years, he was starting to grow. And when he grows, we need to be careful about the load out on the pitch. So it was more in the gym that we wanted him to be, because we wanted him to be injury-free.
I knew when I was young that I was good, but it's also a long way to go. Of course, my dream is to become one of the best players in the world, but also to become a professional football player.
Erling Haaland, the best he eat, I think, was meatball, Norwegian meatball, kjøttkake. After the meatball, this one, sjokoladekake. But not more than one. That's fantastic, boy. Fantastic. I miss Erling. Nei, dette må dere ikke ha. Nei, savner, men jeg synes det så fantastisk det han har til.
Bryne.
Bryne?
No, Bryne.
Okay.
Try again.
Bryne?
Bryne.
Let's head to southwest Norway, where Erling spent his childhood and youth, to Bryne.
It's a very small town where I biked all over to training, to school and to everything. And yeah, my family was living 5 to 10 minutes away from me, and yeah, a small town that I enjoyed a lot. Bryne is home for me, yes.
Although Erling's hometown only has 12,000 inhabitants, it is well known for its football. In the 80s, Bryne FK played in the UEFA Cup, and around the time of Haaland's birth, they were still a top-flight club. But these days, they're in the 3rd division. At Bryne Stadium, we meet up with Erling's first coach, Alf-Inge.
There was the pitch Erling had his home debut when he was 15. So Erling played here when he was 15 in the 2nd level in Norway. And he played for many, many matches before moving to Molde. So, but he didn't score here, but he met strong persons, so he kind of developed smartness. The Erling story started on this stadium. From early on, he played on artificial grass or indoor hall, and when he grew older, he started on this magnificent stadium. He has his debut on the home pitch when he was 15 with adults, and he played a lot of games that year. I saw him first when he was just 6 years old in indoor training, and the first he did was score 2 goals.
Erling took his first steps as a footballer in this indoor football hall. When he was born on July 21st, 2000, Erling's father, Alf-Inge, was a defender at Leeds. Before taking his career abroad to Nottingham, Leeds and Manchester, Alf-Inge played for Bryne FK. He played 187 Premier League matches and 34 times for Norway before returning home.
Så vidt jeg ser, så du sønnen til
Alf-Inge Haaland.
Det helt riktig. Du heter Erling, og du skårte 2 mål. Hvem det som har lært deg å skåre mål? For faren kunne det ikke.
Jeg aner ikke. Meg selv.
Han får ikke noe æren for det, han.
Nei. Alt andre får han æren for.
Alfie, Erling's father, was not a big pressure guy. He was calm and let Erling develop, and he didn't interfere in one training session, not a match, not even a single. He just stood, and if we asked Alfie for some advice, he would give us.
I think he's learned a few things from me, you know, about some mentality stuff, willing to win, you know, appreciating his teammates when they're doing well. You know, it's a team effort. Football is a team game, so you are really, you know, depending on your other teammates. If you're going to be good yourself, you have to appreciate that the others are doing a good job also for you, and you have to do a good job for them.
We met Alf-Inge in the Bryne football hall on a Saturday morning. He was teaming up with Erling's stepsisters and their mother for a kickabout. Since Erling's success in the Champions League and his move to Dortmund, he's become a role model for a whole generation of young Norwegians. It's not just in Bryne. Everyone wants to play football now. The Haaland family is no exception. Alf-Inge is still young Erling's closest advisor.
My father's been a big role model for me. I always said to myself, I want to become a professional football player at a high level, and that's what I said the whole life. And to try to get better than him is also a goal. And I had a lot of role models, but my father's maybe been the biggest one.
Alf-Inge Haaland is widely remembered for his feud with Manchester United captain Roy Keane and the horror tackle that ended Haaland's career. In 1997, Keane was writhing in pain with Haaland hovering over him, accusing him of faking the injury. Keane ended up missing almost a year. Keane never forgot the incident and took revenge 4 years later when he met Haaland in the Manchester derby. In one of football's most violent tackles, Keane flew studs up into Haaland's leg. The Norwegian never played a full match again. Keane later cynically wrote in his autobiography that there are things that I regret in my life, and he is not one of them.
I was an average player, if you can say, but I had some of my strengths I can see in Erling, but he's in other things he's a lot, he's a lot better than me already. I can say that.
I think Erling already is better than his father was.
Alf-Inge Berntsen was Erling's coach for nearly 10 years. He shows us around the club shop next to the stadium, which looks more like an Erling Haaland fan shop at the moment.
This is the club suits from Bryne. And like this, Erling played for 12 years before moving to Molde and blue shirts. All of the area people are very proud of Erling. He has given very positive signals to this area, and that's a very good thing. The most popular now is Dortmund. You can't choose name and number, it's already on. And they have sold about 120, 130 pieces the last month. That's quite a lot.
Erling's rise to success didn't take his coach by surprise, as Erling comes from athletic stock. Bryne Football Club's biggest legend is Arne Larsen Økland, Erling's great uncle.
My mother used to do track and field, yes. No, I think my speed comes from both my mother and my father.
We knew that from 11-12 he had good speed, but his big physics missed. So we said, imagine what he can do when he grown up. And we know that he will become very strong and very fast. So we began to talk about when he was 12 that this is something special. He would become international player.
Before Erling arrived at Dortmund, few people in Norway were interested in the Bundesliga. Now it's different. His first coach is currently a school teacher. Though he's given up coaching, everyone asks him, what's your secret? How did you create Erling Haaland?
A guy like Erling, you can't create that. He's born with special gifts. And if making environment for this kind to grow, that's the most important. He was from day one a natural goal scorer, with his instinct and smartness in the box. From early he showed a great winning mentality. He was never afraid. As he grew older he was very hardworking, a really nice guy to work with. He smiled a lot, trained a lot, scored a lot.
One of Berntsen's secrets was not to push Erling in any specific direction, but to give him the time to develop step by step. For years he played in a group of about 30 players in Bryne, made up of boys and girls.
I think his self-confidence is in a way born with this. And he has all years he has just continued to succeed. He become better. When he had a new level, he just continued to score, and that builds new confidence.
When I got my first professional contract in Bryne, I was thinking, yeah, this is a good thing, but also on the other side, it's nothing compared to others, you know. And also, when I was in Salzburg, I started scoring goals there, but also, you know, if I'm realistic, look at Kylian Mbappe, he's banging goals in Liga, so you know, you can always reach a higher level in football.
Back to Molde. Let's talk to some of Erling's former teammates. Fredrik Aursnes was one of his closest friends when he took the next step on his way to the top. What did he think when he first met Erling?
Nothing special, really. He came from Bryne and was a big for his age when he came, a striker. And yeah, I could see there was some potential there, but not. I couldn't see that he would be a Dortmund player. He's really hungry for success and really professional outside the field. And mentally strong. Like after a game, he's finished with the game and think about the next one and prepare himself for that.
Although Erling was usually the youngest of his teammates, he was always a step ahead in his ambitions. But still, he was a popular figure on and off the pitch.
It was me and Eirik and Erling who were mostly hanging out. So now, because my friend Eirik, he had an apartment in the centrum, so we were mostly hanging out just there, yeah, and just watching a lot of football, obviously, in the nights and making dinner and enjoying the company of each other, yeah.
Me and him, we got off on the right foot, and we spent a lot of time together. And as you see on the pitch, he's quite the same when he's at home. He has a lot of energy and has a lot of jokes in him.
When I have the ball, not when I have the ball. No. Okay, then it's easy. Bro, 1 against 1. Yes. You think you are better? Much better.
He spreads good vibes when you're around him, but also when you make him pissed, he gets really pissed. But then he, as you can see on the pitch as well, but when you get him on a good side again, he's back, you know.
Eirik and Erling became close friends. In 18 months, they played more than 25 matches together. Erling transformed into a deadly striker, scoring 16 goals in 30 matches in Molde's 2018 season. He was even named the best newcomer in Norway's Eliteserien. Norway and Manchester United legend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had brought Haaland to Molde. When Solskjaer went to Manchester, his assistant, Erling Moe, became Molde's coach.
We are well known for bringing in youngsters to this club and develop them. It's easier here for young guys, young boys to really get into the football. It's not too many attractions in Molde. He came to paradise.
Only 32,000 people live in Molde. 19th century playwright Henrik Ibsen used to vacation here. Apart from a folk and fishery museum, there's not much to discover outside loads of salmon and sea trout. Do these quiet surroundings help young footballers develop? It was in Molde that Erling Haaland became a star. Years after his departure to Salzburg and then Dortmund, they still remember his biggest moment in a Molde jersey.
Well, the biggest memory, I think, when he scored 4 goals away against Bryne. And within 20 minutes, Molde went from 0-0 to 4-0. That was amazing. He teared up the defense of Bryne in a few minutes, and he was unstoppable.
She's watched him here more than I have. Hva er ditt sterkeste minne av Haaland her? Når han scoret mot Bryne. When he scored against Bryne.
Good to see. We have had one player of his caliber, so going out and can do it so well.
On July 1st, 2018, 20 days before his 18th birthday, Haaland scored 4 goals in just 17 minutes against Bryne Bergen in Norway's top flight, the birth of a superstar.
The day before, we had a session, and Erling was missing the goal every time he tried, and he struggled, and he was angry at himself, and then the game against Bryne come, and he looked like $1 million. The Bryne players, they didn't know what hit them, and I think they are seasick still.
A Manchester United scout attended the match. Top clubs from all over Europe wanted to sign him. But Haaland decided to take things step by step and signed a 5-year contract with Red Bull Salzburg, starting on January 1st, 2019.
I'm happy for him, but sad because he isn't here.
No, he's hungry all the time. Attacking, hungry. So I love him, yes.
It's his attitude and that he is so fearless. And he never quits. He chases every ball and he takes every opportunity he can to score goals. You can see it in his eyes. He's young and he's hungry, and I think it's going to be great following him in his career.
I think I had the whole life to set my goals very high, and that's what I've been doing my whole life.
It took Erling 6 months to adapt to the new level in Salzburg. With the start of the season, he made headlines in the football world. Barely 18, he scored 4 hat-tricks in just 8 weeks in the Austrian Cup, Austrian Bundesliga, and finally in the Champions League. All of a sudden, half of Europe wanted to sign Haaland. Juventus, Leipzig, Manchester United and Real Madrid, to name a few. But Erling chose Dortmund.
Well, Dortmund have signed a fantastic boy, and that's I can't answer more than that.
When I walked out first time on the bench, of course, and then I heard the yellow wall and the whole stadium was singing, and these kind of things was fantastic. It was like a dream, you know, when you were young and when you dream to play in front of 80,000, and yeah, no, it was another level.
He scores! Haaland scores! He's on his own! He's on his own! He's on his own hat-trick!
In Dortmund, Erling has begun a new chapter of his career. Coming off the bench, he bagged a hat-trick in his first Bundesliga appearance.
Oh, what a debut for Erling Haaland!
There was 2 in my dreams, so yeah, it was nice.
Macht 3 Tore am Ende. Ist klar, kommt, ist 19. Das ist schon ein Wunder, was macht heute.
Maybe it's magic, I don't know, but it was 2 fantastic debuts.
Since arriving in Dortmund, he's broken half a dozen Bundesliga records and scored 9 goals in his first 8 matches. He even scored twice in his first Champions League match. An unbelievable start for the teenager.
We're just happy to have him here, and as you can tell, he's very clinical in front of goal. But, you know, he's disappointed today because he should have scored 3 or more goals.
When my teammates are so good, you know, then it's getting easy sometimes, you know, to create chances and to play with them, you know, because they're so good. You know, you're just the first second I play with Jaden, Marco, Torgan, you know, these guys. It just sits, you know, direct, and that's how it is with world-class players.
Compared to like other players in his position, like Mbappe or Neymar or the superstars, I think that's his best attribute, that he wants to help the team even more than other players with that same amount of status in the world of football.
So, what have we learned from our trip to Erling Haaland's roots? Plenty of people helped him in his rise from a skinny, talented boy to world-class striker. His secret might not lie in his genetics, his diet, or in his training, but in his personality.
The only thing Erling wants to do is to play football. He doesn't have too many other interests. It's football or nothing.
He had a different level of passion when it comes to playing on the pitch, and especially when it comes to scoring goals.
Football, football, football. That's what's in his mind, and that's why he came here.
We talk a lot about football, and yeah, it's both critical and also, you know, you have to see the positive things and keep going on that.
Hopefully he can still enjoy football every day.
We're not sad, we are just happy for him.
I don't see the small kids. I see a big man. Hey, fantastic.
Is all the Haaland hype getting to him?
No, it's easy. Why not?